Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Friday the 5th of March 2021. Today we have this story from Richard Corley in the South London Press, which is the londonnewsonline.co.uk, and it's basically like a little season review so far. And here we go. It says you can already make a strong case for Millwall overachieving even if they miss out on championship playoffs. It says, I'm a firm believer that when it comes to assessing whether a club's season has been a success or failure, then you only largely need to look at their wage bill compared with their competitors. Millwall still have 12 matches left to play in the Championship this season, and the playoffs, while improbable, cannot be totally discounted, but there is an argument to be made that they are already exceeding realistic expectations, just not as spectacularly as Barnsley. The Tykes will be one of only a handful of clubs who operate on lower expenditure than the Lions. The others are Luton, Wycombe, Rotherham and Coventry. That latter trio are all ensconced in the bottom five. And it carries on. That's not me saying football is decided solely by finances, but it sure helps. That's why Norwich, Brentford, Watford, Cardiff, Bournemouth and Middlesbrough are all in the mix for promotion to the Premier League. Forest are underachieving, Luton are overachieving. So Millwall are doing more than alright. It's worth hammering home that point that Gary Rowett has only really paid a transfer fee for George Evans, and that is already beginning to look a shrewd price of business at 750k. Payments to Derby for Mason Bennett, who bravely headed in the winner against Preston North End on Tuesday, are based on his appearances. Okay, that's interesting. Scott Malone, another Pride Park cast-off, has been an excellent loan signing. Some of the fan base were unhappy to see the attack-minded left wing-back heading back to SC16 in August. There won't be so many dissenting voices, if any, now. Malone has added a vital offensive outlet for the Lions, and his superb equaliser in midweek underlined his threat when he breaks into the final third. Tuesday's 2-1 victory over Preston extended Mill's unbeaten run at 10 to 6 matches. They have lost just once in their last 11 games, managed to halt a poor run of form despite injuries to all of those players that you can see on your screen now. Mill will need another 22 points from 12 fixtures to match their final total from the 2019-2020 campaign, but a repeat or improvement of that was always likely to be a challenge if they could not keep the majority of their squad fit with the normal schedule truncated by the pandemic. It's also worth pointing out that they have got 2 points more than they accrued a couple of years ago, a joyless slog to the finish line under Neil Harris, with safety only achieved after a 0-0 draw at home to Stoke on match day 44. For Mill to improve their prospects of reaching the top flight, they need to add more goals. They are the lowest scorers in the top half of the table. That issue might have been solved in the short term if Zahor had not suffered ankle injuries. They have lost only 2 of 12 games he featured in, winning 5. He has not been available for 18 others. The question is whether the South Londoners can afford to look at options away from the loan market when the next transfer window opens. Football club owners can spend huge sums of money, and quite a few do, without any responsibility for the balance sheets. Without any significant improvement on the pitch, nobody said running a football club was easy, but the foundations are solid at Millwall, backed up by the fact that they can look forward to a 5th successive season in the Championship. They possess assets, both more finished articles in the shape of Hutchinson, Cooper, Romeo and Wallace, as well as the exciting potential McNamara and Billy Mitchell. Rowett held Preston up as a template to follow when he took charge. Mill ended up finishing a place above them in July. They are on course to do so again. Starman Marlon Romeo has responded to Danny McNamara's competition by putting in a consistent run of impressive performance. And best moment, Scott Malone seems hell-bent on winning the club's Goal of the Season award. So there you go. Like a little mini review there from Rich Corley. Go back up to the interesting thing. Mason Bennett's loan fee. Is he on loan? Oh no, we signed him, but payments depend on his appearances. So is that one of the reasons why he doesn't really play that much? Is if you I don't know. I know he's not been fit, but you can't be in a situation where you can't play a player because you can't afford to make the payments that you need to pay. Because what if he's your best? What if you end up signing a striker that's banging in the goals, but every goal he scores, you have to pay, or whatever. If he pays, or if he scores, you pay the club that you got him from more money, and then you're in a situation like, well, we can't afford to pay the money, but if we don't play him, then we're not going to score the goals, and we're not going to head up on the table. We don't have the chance of getting promoted. So then that's a bit of a catch-22 there, isn't it? But there you go. As talking to Scott Malone as well, we had this also from londonnewsonline.co.uk. We've been talking to Scott Malone about signing him up because his loan at Derby is he's on loan from Derby, and his contract with Derby expires in the summer. So from January the 1st, he could speak to clubs, including the club he's at now, Millwall. And it seems we're trying to sign him up, which probably explains why he's kind of frustrating, because he has had a couple of amazing games, a couple of amazing goals, but he seems to be in an oscillating pattern of he plays absolutely amazing one game, and then the game straight after it's just nothing's there, and then he'll play amazing again, and then the next game there's nothing there. It's really frustrating to be so hit and miss. I guess that depends on the opposition or how we play, if we go down the right wing or the left wing, or we don't go down that side, or the other team attack too much down that side, so he has to defend. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's about him and his contract, but let's have a read of this. It says Millwall have held contract talks with Scott Malone, but manager Gary Rowett admits the wing-back's goal-scoring form is likely to attract other suitors. The online Derby County man, who turns 30 later this month, produced a superb 20-yard strike to help sink Preston North End at the Den on Tuesday night. Malone has 5 goals this season, 2 behind top scorer Jed Wallace, and a succession of standout performances have been timed perfectly with his Pride Park contract up this summer. The ideal time for talks is not usually after he spanked one in the top corner, joked Rowett. Scott will walk in the office with a huge wheelbarrow and say, "What a goal that was. We'll sit down when we think it is right." We've certainly had some discussions with Scott and his agent, but I've said it before with the likes of Scotty and Woodsy, our job is to get them back playing to their best level. If we can do that when they played at a higher level, then undoubtedly they're going to attract other teams. There might be some who can pay them a lot more money than we can. Hopefully we can keep someone like Scott for longer. His goals against Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday and the one the other day are incredible bits of finishing. He has 5 goals from wing back. Ultimately, that is going to get attention. You can't avoid that. If he is performing well, then he deserves something good to happen at the end of the season. All we can do is sit down and try to keep him within the realms of what we can do. Scott Malone signed up for a second spell of the Lions in late August. He has made 32 appearances. Scotty goes box to box for all games, said Rowett. His stats for a player touching 30 are incredible. When you look at the physical metrics for most games, it is him and Jed who are basically the top 2. Tom Bradshaw, tendonitis, is a doubt for tomorrow's home game against Blackburn. Mason Bennett, who headed the winner, came off in the 89th minute with a tight Achilles. Midfielder Michael Keftenbeld, hamstring, is not expected to be available. The Dutchman has missed the last 6 matches since coming off against Sheffield Wednesday. Till the fluid goes, he can't really kick on, said Rowett. It has been a slow and frustrating situation for him and us. I think, and that's the end of that. So there you go. So they're trying to sign Scott Malone, but I don't know. He's 30 years old. This is probably going to be his last contract. He could probably go get a lot more money than what we're paying him for the next 2 years, and then after that, who knows? It would probably be nice if he signed back on, but I wouldn't blame him if he left. He's 30 years old. He needs to get paid. So we'll see. But when you think Rowett doesn't really rate Shane Ferguson, so he's probably going to be leaving. So who's going to be playing on the left wing then? Can't really put Murray Wallace there. Is Conor Mahoney going to be playing there? He's not really the same type of player as Scott Malone, is he? I don't know, but we'll see. We will see. Moving on, this is news at den.co.uk, and this is how Millwall went back to go forward in February as Boss looks to transfer windows to upgrade. So this is looking eye to the future. It says Millwall had to go forward last month as they posted their best goal return of the season in February. Gary Rowett ditched his preferred three-man attack for two up front and an extra player in midfield, and Millwall scored 10 league goals, 2 more than in any previous month this season. One of Millwall's big priorities in the summer transfer window will be to restructure their attack with signings. But Rowett was pleased with the goal tally last month as Millwall moved well clear of the bottom three. It's ironic because we probably played the fewest attackers in those games, Rowett said, but it's not just about chucking a load of attackers on the pitch to try to score goals. You've got to get the right framework and structure to score. We scored 4 goals against Sheffield Wednesday with a back 5 and 3 midfielders. It's what those players do and how we play their game. It's those clinical chances that we have to take. I can go to moments in nearly every game and ask us to be more clinical. That's the key. In the Luton game, we have a potential 1 versus 1 before half time, and we don't get a chance to shoot. Mason Bennett has a chance to equalise against Barnsley and does brilliantly and maybe should score. It's not criticism, those are the moments that define games. Against Sheffield Wednesday, we were clinical in that game. We had no more chances than we had in other games, but we scored goals in different ways. That's what we've got to do to keep working towards and trying to improve. And of course, future transfer windows will dictate how much and how quickly we'll be able to improve that side of the game. Millwall are in a situation now in which relegation or reaching the playoffs appear unlikely outcomes this season, but Rowett rejects the cliche his side can take the shackles off in their remaining 12 games. Rowett said, I think every game you have a go, it's a difficult one really, because sometimes people think taking the shackles off is playing gung-ho. If Championship football was that easy, then everyone play gung-ho football and games would be 7-6. It doesn't work like that. You have to always look for a balance between attack and defence. That balance comes down to what players you've got. What are the strengths of your team? We're not any different from a team at the bottom needing a win to get towards survival. You're always playing for something. If you're not playing to get to 50 points as quickly as you can, you're playing to get to 70 points to get a chance at playoffs. I don't think it changes. Millwall host Blackburn this week and a side that were in playoff contention at the start of the last month before their form nosedived. They've got very good players in their team. They're trying to get that consistency back, Rowett said. We could go through virtually every team in this division and say at some point they've had a wobble. Depending on how big your wobble has been, probably dictates where you are in the league or how good your players are to get through it. Blackburn are one of those sides capable of beating anyone on their day. Maybe they've just found a little period where they can't quite find a formula to get out of it. But there is plenty of the season to go and they've got the players that can score goals. Again, we know it's going to be tough. Blackburn are one of those teams who have the firepower to be up and around those playoff positions. They're probably, like all of us, trying to look for that right balance in their team and consistency, which is not easy. So there you go. We're probably going to need to sign a striker and a left winger in the transfer window in the summer. But, as I said there, Blackburn tomorrow, not looking too good. And let's have a look. So this is David Prutton of SkySports.com and his predictions. He did not get the Preston game correct, but he did get the Barnsley game correct. And his prediction for tomorrow's game is Millwall 2, Blackburn 1. So there you go. You're going to have a little nibble on that down the bookies? Who knows? Let's move on and maybe we'll find some other bet to have. So this is whoscored.com, Millwall versus Blackburn preview page. And here we can see, wow, Blackburn Rovers have a worse injury list than Millwall. They have 7 players injured. Some big players. Wow, okay. I'm not going to read all that. Match facts. Let's have a look at the match facts. It says Blackburn have lost their last 4 away matches. Okay. Blackburn have scored at least 2 goals in 8 of their last 10 matches against Millwall in all competitions. That does not sound good, does it? There have been under 2.5 goals scored in 5 of Blackburn's last 6 away games in the Championship. Blackburn have lost with a 1-goal margin in their last 4 away matches in the Championship. Millwall are undefeated in 10 of their last 11 matches. Blackburn are undefeated in 9 of their last 10 matches against Millwall in all competitions. So, looking at that list I've just read out, it sounds like historically Blackburn have had us on our toes. They've got some decent results against us, but they're not looking too good right now. Their form is really not good. Have a look down here, and what do they predict? Millwall 2, Blackburn 1. They say Millwall fell behind inside 12 minutes against Preston in midweek, but the London club struck back just before half-time and eventually stole the 3 points thanks to Mason Bennett's late goal. The Lions have just lost 1 of their last 11 league games. Blackburn were condemned to yet another defeat in midweek as they failed to break down a resolute Reading defence after falling behind early on. Tony Mowbray is coming under pressure following a return of 1 point from the club's last 7 league games. Sounds like we might have another instance where Millwall result leads to a manager getting the sack. But look at this on the side here, you see the players. They have a player who can score. Armstrong, 19 goals so far this season. So they can score, but just not recently. So something's happened. Let's move on to the next page of this. And what they say is, you can see here, look at the tables there in the middle. Millwall are 10th in the table, Blackburn are 15th, but look at the form. Last 6 games, 5 defeats for Blackburn and 1 draw. Not very good. Let's switch this to the form table. Millwall are 6th in the form table. Blackburn at bottom of the form table, only scoring 5 goals, conceding 10. So you would think Millwall victory is guaranteed, isn't it? It's got to be. But is it? You never know. You would think we would win, but you can never tell with Millwall. So match forecast. They say Blackburn will score a long shot. They say that's very likely. Millwall will create many goal scoring chances, very likely. Blackburn will dominate possession, likely. There will be a low number of cards shown. Okay. So Blackburn, it seems here, Blackburn, the strengths, team characteristics, looking very good for Blackburn. They're good at counter-attacking, they're good at long shot opportunities, they're good at creating chances through using through balls, creating chances through individual skill, but they're very weak at stopping opponents from creating chances. So, and the styles, Blackburn style, attempt through balls often, short passes, possession football, rotate the first 11, non-aggressive, opponents play aggressively against them. Okay. I don't know. we can see here. Let's do the last 6 matches at the Den. So last season it was 1-0 to Millwall, but then all of the times before that, not a sniff for Millwall. There's a 0-0 in 2013, 2-2 draws, and with a red card for one for Blackburn, one for Millwall in 2014 season. Wow, okay. But then, yeah, I don't know. I think Millwall will win. Yeah, I think 2-1. I'm gonna go with both of them, Prutton and the other guy on whoscored.com. I think Millwall 2, Blackburn 1. Anyway, let's see how it goes. I'm looking forward to the game. Hope you are too. Thank you for watching. Bye.